How has this become such a desperate situation across the country?
That's a great question. I think we would all love to know how we got here, because then we might have, some sort of magic wand we could wave to get us out of it. But it's also not just Canadian cities; it's American cities as well. Like, we really are in a really, really difficult position as far as our major cities go. And I will say, it's starting to feel a little bit like in Canada and our Canadian cities, we are actually even further behind than our American counterparts. So it's a really tricky situation to be in.
Again, you're in Ottawa, you're with other leaders. What actions are you joining together to call for?
Yeah, I think that one of the most important things for Canadians to understand, no matter which city you're in, is that this is an issue clear across the country. And when I say this is an issue, it is the well-being of our local economies, of our downtowns, and of our communities. So we're here to talk to MPs across all political stripes about mental health, addictions, and homelessness, to talk about safer public spaces, safe and inclusive public spaces. So that includes things like further bail reform. And we're here to talk about economic development in downtowns as well. So it's a pretty broad spectrum of things we're here to talk about. Obviously, the thing that seems to have really struck a chord, both with all the politicians and staff that we're meeting with, but also with Canadians across the country already today, is about the mental health and then the public safety pieces of it. Because I think everyone we've talked to, every MP, no matter which community it is that they represent, no matter which party they're a part of, they've heard these things in their own community, and they recognize that something needs to be done.
So what is the next step after this? What do you think is going to be done?
It's very interesting timing to be here, to be honest. Like, we know we're not that far out from a federal election. And it's also, we're sort of in pre-budget time for the current government. So what comes next depends on which MPs we were talking to. So when we're talking to sitting Liberal ministers, to Liberal MPs, the current government, we're really trying to make sure that investments are being made, particularly in redevelopment and economic development in our downtowns that can flow through our regional economic development agencies. We're also talking to them about the need for public safety investments, mental health investments. We think the Housing Accelerator Fund was a really successful model for how the federal government can flow money directly into communities to solve an urgent problem. So we think that's a great model to use. So those are the kinds of conversations we're having with the current government. When we're talking to MPs from other parties, it's a little bit of a bigger picture conversation. We're talking about policy, we're talking about priorities. We're trying to understand, if there were a change in government, potentially, would public safety and mental health be priorities for the new government? And what we're hearing from a lot of political parties and MPs is that, yes, there's a lot of alignment there, and they understand that this is a priority for Canadians. The BC provincial government has ended up in a situation where addictions and public safety and mental health, all these interrelated issues, have become kind of the big election issue in BC. So I think the federal government is paying attention to that too. So what the next steps are depends on what happens over the next, 6 to 10 months, I guess. And so we're just hoping to build relationships here and to have a lot of follow-up conversations with all the folks that we've met with today.
Yeah. So obviously very good timing to be in Ottawa. Puneeta, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me again.